Welcome to POL Classics. Be sure to check out the best of POL from over the years. It's at its most popular day and time, and guess what? It's only on WNEP+.
WNEP TV proudly presents Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, featuring the Pennsylvania Outdoor Life team, with your key to the great outdoors. We're proud to serve all of northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This week's trip through Pennsylvania's outdoor life starts right now. Here's your hosts, Don Jacobs and Ken Hunter.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. I'm Don Jacobson. I don't want to leave this thing. I don't want to give it away, but we are going to give it away during this program. Of course, I'm talking about the Rumblin' Rhino contest coming to an end. Rusty Palmer and Yamaha supplying this incredible Rhino, and believe me, the postcards have been coming in by the thousands. The deer season opens, the bear season, we've got all that covered, but first thing we're going to do is mix up some postcards. What do you say, Ken?
Jake, I'm telling you, Corey and I are in here busy dumping postcards, and you know what? Look behind me from the looks of things. We're going to be busy dumping postcards for quite a while here, aren't we, Corey?
Absolutely.
Let's just keep throwing them in, make sure we get them all out.
What do you think, Corey? Rusty Palmer happy?
Oh, this is great. I think
Jake?
we're going to make somebody happy tonight.
Yes,
we are getting cards from everywhere. Middle Creek or Middleburg and right in our own backyard. Cards are coming like crazy. But listen, not only is this going to be a big night for whoever's going to win this Rusty Palmer Rhino, this is going to be a big night for that person.
Right.
But it's also a big night for about 1 million other people who are going to take to the woods tomorrow morning.
Tell me, do you sleep on the night before the deer season? Do you sleep on the night before the deer season?
I can't.
I haven't slept in days waiting for tomorrow morning's opening day. And of course, we are talking about the traditional opening day of the Pennsylvania rifle deer season. Dr. Gary Ault is in charge of the entire state's wildlife management program when it comes to white-tailed deer. And here's what he thinks about tomorrow's opener.
I think the one thing that sets 2004 apart from any other year is this is the first year we expect to see more 3-year-olds out there, because this is the third year we're practicing antler restrictions. So there's no question there are more bigger bucks out there. Now, as to whether they get them or not, that remains to be seen.
Are they automatically smarter because they're older?
Well, we think we are. I think that you're more likely to have them be nocturnal. They're going to be a little more difficult to catch up with. But on that opening day, with so much hunting pressure running around, they're probably going to catch up with most of them, I would expect.
Yeah, the one we're shooting in that group was an adult, and we caught him, so he's at least 2.5, maybe 3.5 when we're shooting at.
We should see nicer bucks. Everything that we've studied indicates they did survive. We know they get bigger. We've been seeing them out there ourselves. Our radio collared bucks are still alive, so I'm expecting hunters to see nicer bucks. We look at statistics on a statewide basis, so 45,000 square miles, and it's very hard to predict what a hunter will see. And in the same way as the gross national product of the country doesn't correspond with your salary or mine very well. So it's hard to predict what any individual will see. I do feel that in our overbrowsed areas, it's for sure people are seeing fewer deer. And I don't think that's because of the does that are being shot so much as it is a really heavy mortality of younger deer in multiple bad winters in a row. I'm hearing this throughout our overbrowsed forests in north central Pennsylvania, here in the Poconos, and in southern New York. You know, our policies have no impacts in New York, so I think a lot of this abundance of what people are seeing is related more to winter mortality than it is to what we're shooting.
I asked Gary about places like Francis Slocum State Park and developments in the Poconos that are being overrun by deer. He says it's a major concern.
I think there's many issues in deer management. The overwhelming one that you've heard us talk about is the statewide problem of trying to balance the deer herd with their habitat in areas where we do have access to hunting. I think the idea of controlling deer populations where you don't have access to hunting, where it may not be practical, is a whole other situation. And I think that's one of the real challenges of the deer section of the Game Commission, is going to be to try and provide options and viable solutions to these problems in urban, suburban settings. And wherever possible, we're going to try to do that using hunting and hunters. But some areas it's not practical and it's not possible, but they still have the problem, and those problems have to be solved. And I think we need to continue to look at these problems, and eventually we have to solve them. We're not going to get judged on trying, we're going to get judged on fixing the problem. It's our responsibility to manage wildlife in Pennsylvania for all the people and all the wildlife and their habitats, and we have to stay focused on that. And that's a serious problem and something we need to address. The broad-based surveys we've been running looks good. I spent several days at the bear check station and talked to hundreds and hundreds of people here, and I am very pleased with the response I got from those hunters. I didn't have a single person come here and complain about antler restrictions. I have had some questions about not seeing the number of deer they'd like to see. We've had discussions like we just had with regard to the impacts of winter and so on, but in general, I'm really pleased about the support. Yeah, we are very, very pleased with the performance of hunters in terms of what we expected them to do. Not just hunters, but biologists across the country were very suspicious that hunters may not follow antler restrictions. And we have the largest study done anywhere in the world. And when the results of that are coming out and we're sharing it with people, it's very flattering. The hunters are doing what they were expected to do. And that's a feather in their cap. And I think that the Pennsylvania hunters should wear that as a badge. They perform very well out there. And those bucks are still alive and they're growing. And everything we had hoped would happen when the antler restrictions appears to be happening on a statewide basis with all the statistics that we have. This fall we'll be getting a lot more statistics. The last, third and final year of all those collared bucks will be coming through, but everything we see indicates that it's working really well. I think one of the most fascinating statistics is that almost 90% of the bucks that get through hunting season are still alive the following hunting season. That tells it all, that it's working for us.
And of course, we told you that Dr. Garriall promised us that he would keep us going step by step on this deer management, and we want to thank him for doing that. But you know what I'm excited about? I'm hearing stories of bucks bigger than we could ever imagine possible tomorrow. Are you holding out for the big one? Are you taking a doe? What are you doing?
I can only hunt for a buck in the area I'm going to be in. I don't have a doe license for that area, so I have no choice.
Okay, and how about you, Corey?
Well, I got a week to hunt, and I'm going to hold out for a big one.
You're waiting for the monster.
I'm going to wait for the monster.
And me, I want venison in my freezer, and that's what I'm doing. That's my goal tomorrow.
I will do that later in the week. I'll go for the doe later in the week, but my wife will be out, so maybe she'll get some venison for us.
And of course, remember to be safe out there. Whatever you're doing, you need enough fluorescent orange. We've got more on deer hunting coming up in a few minutes. But first, we've got to talk about this contest.
We're going to go to a break in just a minute, but before we do that, let's take a look at the answers to the first 4 clues that we've been giving you all year. And the first one is...
These were easy clues.
Oh, yeah, they
too.
were easy clues.
They were relatively easy.
The first one is...
was gun.
Oh, gun, yeah, that was a real easy one. Then gloves, hunting license, and finally, a knife.
You need all those.
Yeah. That first one was so easy. Hey, we'll be right back after a short break.
We'll have even more POL Classics on WNEP Plus right after this. Welcome back to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. Of course, we are mixing up. What are you doing down there?
We're mixing these cards, Jake. My goodness, there's so many of them, but we're going to do the best we can to get them all mixed up.
And that's not even half of them yet, if you take a look at the pile that's still behind you guys. But give everybody a shot, guys, okay? Mix it up a little bit more.
Well, listen, Jake, we've got a big day coming up tomorrow with all the hunters going into the woods for deer, but you know what else? We just ended bear season. That was a pretty successful season.
Yes, it was, and some guys still have an opportunity to do the bear hunt yet for this year, but of course, we're talking about the 3-day hunt. We met up with Dr. Garriall at the Shohola Check Station, and we have a little bit of information about central Pennsylvania. So let's check in on the bear season.
Well, here at the Shohola Falls Bear Check Station and Tobyhanna, both of the major check stations in the Poconos, about half as many bears we checked last year in the first 2 days. So it's considerably down. But the number of bears checked at all the stations in Pennsylvania is actually up by several hundred at the end of the first day. So we're seeing a reduction in the Pocono Cape, but I will say we've been doing hunter pressure routes here. We go around like 60 miles of roads in Pike and Monroe counties. We count the number of cars parked on those roads over the last 30 years. You know, we've been doing this every year. And the last 3 years, we've seen almost a 40% reduction. 40% reduction in the number of cars parked along those highways in major hunting areas. And what we suspect is that corresponds with the last 3 years we've had allowed the extension of the bear season into the first week, including the entire first week of the rifle deer season. And what's happening, we think, is that the hunters in these areas are switching. Instead of taking off during bear season, they're taking off during the first week of the rifle deer season, and they're hunting bear and bucks and does all at the same time.
Our helicopter is up in the sky, and we're seeing, we're seeing moms with 3 cubs, 4 cubs. We're seeing bear where we never expected to see them. The bear population expanding?
The bear population throughout the eastern United States is expanding. And when you've been around as long as we have, looking at this situation, when I first started on bears in the mid-'70s, and throughout the 20th century, up until the 70s, the total population of bears in the entire state of Pennsylvania was probably around 2,500 bears, maybe 3,000 tops. We kill that many bears in 3 days in Pennsylvania now. But the bear population has increased from about 2,500 to 13,000, 15,000. It's unbelievable how much it's increased. And today we see higher densities of bears. When I first started working on bears, almost the entire bear harvest occurred primarily in 10 counties, and now you see it in excess of 50 of the 67 counties in Pennsylvania, so it's tremendous changes. We have some of the healthiest bears in North America, and we have really heavy bears, breeding at younger ages, larger litters.
160.
Phenomenal reproduction. I mean, biologists in other states look at our reproduction and they can't believe it. It is pretty amazing. Every year I've seen nothing but healthy bears here pretty much.
And it's the same story in central Pennsylvania. We met up with some very successful bear hunters.
Jessica Olsner from Jersey Shore. I was sitting in my tree stand and I heard rumble coming, so I stood up to look, and I looked off to my left, and the mom and the cub was coming up around. I let it come up towards me, and then she stood right up and I shot her right in the chest. I was nervous at first to shoot it, but I was okay. I talked myself into doing it. Like, I was so nervous, I didn't know what to do.
167, adult female. Ref.
Gerald Anderson. Well, about 9:25 this morning, I heard something coming from my left, and I looked out about 45 yards, and this bear was following this stream. And he came into a clearing, and that's when I made the shot. First, I didn't believe it, and then I realized that for me it was probably one chance in a lifetime. And I heard a lot about how good bear meat is, so I thought, give her a try, and I was just at the right place at the right time.
It's always a good thing to be in the right place at the right time, and who knows, your postcard may be at the right place at the right time.
Speaking of the right place at the right time, why don't you get in this place
because
and help us?
Did you ever hear the word, I'm the boss? I'm not the one that's supposed to. All right.
Well, listen, while we're dumping these things in and mixing them all up, let's take a break and look at some of the photos you folks have been sending us.
Let's begin this week's edition of Pennsylvania People and Places with a successful archery hunter. Damian Rakowski of Harding harvested this 8-pointer on the opening day in Susquehanna County. Damian is a biology teacher at the Wyoming Area School District, and it just goes to show that a little education brings in the big bucks. Take a look at the Krebs of Catawissa and the pair of bucks they took while hunting in Columbia County this archery season. Don Krebs Jr. on the right shot this 6-point buck at 7:30, and while tracking his deer, he got a call from his dad on the radio telling him that he also had downed a deer. He never indicated that it was an exceptionally large buck until Don Jr. and his brother David arrived to help drag it out. In the end, the father's bruiser sported 10 points, and it was the best buck that he has ever harvested. Congratulations on the deer of a lifetime. Matt Baldwin of Dalton is seen here with the 8-pointer that he harvested on the first Thursday of the archery season. Matt's deer dressed out at 202 pounds and had a green Pope and Young score of 130. Great shooting, Matt. Here's another nice 8-pointer. Ed Klepatch Jr. of Freeland harvested this nice buck during the 3rd week of the archery season outside of Freeland. Ed grunted this deer into 10 yards, presenting the perfect shot. Way to go. 17-year-old Matt Price of Coaldale shot this 6-point buck with the bow on his family farm in Walker Township. Since this is Matt's first buck with the bow, he's planning on having it mounted. And you know what? We don't blame you. Now let's take a look at some successful youth pheasant hunters. 12-year-old Cody Johnson of Scott Township, Lackawanna County, took these pheasants on the opening day of the 2004 Youth Pheasant Hunt. This is Cody's first day out hunting since passing his hunter's safety course in April. And he would like to give a special thanks to Chris and Kevin Roshok for the use of their dog, Max. Cody would also like to thank the Pennsylvania Game Commission for sponsoring the Youth Pheasant Hunt. Pictured from left to right, we see Grayson Miller, Jake Finland, and Dylan Miller, all of Towanda, Bradford County. This trio of junior pheasant hunters also walked away successful with birds off of State Game Lands 219 during the Youth Pheasant Hunt on October 9th. Sending us this photo was the proud dads of Joe Miller and Ray Finland. Congratulations on your memorable day out, guys. And with these three amigos, we'll put a close to this week's edition of Pennsylvania People and Places. As we continue to dump the postcards, I'm going to say there's a couple of postcards in this pile.
Oh, Jake, we're still empty, and I'm not sure we're going to get all these empty tonight.
But you're right. Our viewing audience goes from everywhere from Bangor to up near there's New York State line, State College, you name it. There's postcards in here, and we're going to make sure everybody's got a good shot.
That's Bangor, Pennsylvania, not Bangor, Maine.
That's correct. You got it.
Okay, well, listen, we're going to give you the answers to 4 more of our clues now coming on the screen. You're going to see them right now. The first one of those 4 clues, bring that up, is flashlight. Remember, these are things you have to take with you when you go hunting. The next one is lunch. The next one is tree stand. And finally, a compass. Now, not everybody will take a tree stand, but you ought to have a compass if you're going very far into the woods. Make sure you remember that. We're going to go to a break right now, but we'll be right back.
POL Classic, we'll have much more of it on WNEP Plus right after this.
Welcome back to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. Jake, while we are dumping the last 3 of these, we're going to give the next 5 clues. Toilet paper, don't forget that one. Rope. Next clue is binoculars, very important.
And these were easy clues,
Oh, yeah, easy ones. Yeah, that's an easy one. Cell phone, hey, that's a good one in case of an emergency.
Yep.
And the next one is?
There was one last one, I think.
There was one. Well, we missed one there, but they probably got it.
Oh, no, there is.
Camera.
Camera.
You got to
How could you forget the camera?
That's the one I should have gotten right away. So.
All right, we're going to dump the last couple of cards here. Let us tell you what we've done. We've invited Kurt Aaron, Newswatch 16 reporter, new meteorologist here, to basically be the witness for this whole thing. So, Ken, why don't you get in there and mix these up a little bit? Tell me, what do you think about this response?
I was just telling you at the break. Tens of thousands of postcards. I mean, you guys have been dumping boxes, and I even have some friends at the post office that were telling me people were buying 300 and 400 postcards to put in this thing.
Absolutely. Well, that's because Rusty Palmer got involved with this again. And, of course, here's Corey Bailey, representative of Rusty Palmer. Corey, for a second, I didn't know if we were going to beat the last year's contest, but I think we did. Tell us a little bit about the machine again, because it's got to be the machine and the reason behind the whole thing. What kind of machine are we giving away
Well,
here?
we got a Yamaha Rhino 660.
Right.
It's the ultimate of utility and ATVing. It's a great machine.
It is, and Rusty, when we asked Rusty Palmer about it, he actually said to us, you know what, let's give this away because 2 people considered it safely. Mention some of the safety features, will you?
Well, it's got a over-the-shoulder safety harness, just like a seat belt. You should still wear a helmet, be on the safe side. It's got a full roll cage.
But it's one heck of a machine.
Yes, it'll go about anywhere you want to go.
Okay, I'm going to get in here now, guys, and I'm going to mix this whole thing up.
Jake,
we have no cards. Okay, we got all the cards out of here. Now, what I'm going to do is we're going to make sure we've been mixing these up, and we're going to make sure that we continue to mix these up. And I'm going to say right about now, let's do this. Go ahead. We got the suspense is killing everybody. Let's pick the winner of the Rumblin' Rhino contest. Flip those cards back in here. Everybody's got a little shot at this. We're going to dig down, and we're just going to
Now, how deep would you say that is, Jake?
Oh, geez, it's got to be 16, 17 inches. And I'm going to grab one of these cards. And, Kurt, if you would, confirmed to me that there's 4 clues on there, and then indeed it's from the
1,
Rumblin'
2,
Rhino
3,
contest.
4, and it is Rumblin' Rhino contest.
And there's a
Yes,
name,
it
address,
is.
and telephone number.
Yes,
Ken,
sir.
you have the
I will
honors.
accept it officially from Kurt. And the official name, as we read it, is Roy Paul of Klingerstown, Pennsylvania.
Klingerstown,
Klingerstown,
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Congratulations, Roy.
Congratulations. We will have the name again in a minute or two. We are going to take a short break. You're going to stick around and give us a forecast, right?
Absolutely. Important, the wins tomorrow.
The big, big forecast. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we're going to wrap things up for Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. So stick around. Thank you for joining us for a look back at POL Classics. Now I'm going to invite you to join us every Sunday night at 6:30 on WNEP+.